Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Ink and Insights, our weekly comic book highlight reel, where we go over this week's best comics that we've enjoyed and maybe what you've missed. I'm your temporary host right now, Eric, as I don't know where the heck Stu has gone to, but I'm getting a mysterious message from an alternate universe here by way of boom tube. So I'm gonna see if I could bring this dude backstage onto stage and we can see what is going on here. So let's see if we can get this going.
That's right.
Okay,
Yep.
that's ominous. I'm sorry. Who exactly are you now?
What's up, idiot? This is Absolute Stu. I only got a couple minutes with the boom tube, man. Let's get to it.
Okay, absolute Stu. It's nice to see you. Can I ask a question here? I'm sorry. Like, what is absolute Stu? Do you come from the absolute universe?
Absolutely. The world where hope is the underdog. That's where I hail from.
Oh God. I'm almost afraid to ask, but what exactly is the comic book landscape in the or the absolute universe like?
It's amazing, man. Lord Liefeld runs everything. All comics are bought through Whatnot. Everything's an incentive variant. I don't know what else you could ask for.
Maybe quality drawn feet and not questionable publishing
No, there's no
ethics.
feet over here. Everything's a weird, bubbly triangle that's kind of metal.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay, so absolute Stu, what does an absolute Comic Con look like in your universe?
It's amazing, man. They bring out your favorite creators of old, and you get to spoon feed them soup and other things like applesauce and just things their teeth and gums can handle, and then they throw them back in their wheelchairs and take them away. Idiot Con 2024 was one for the books, man. I got to old Frank Miller a little bit of ground up carrots was running down his chin. I got to just help him back with that and make sure he was looking right at the end. It was a transcendental experience when you're sitting there. The guys who've created the books you grow up with, right? And they have nothing left but the food and the spoon that you're giving them. It's really just, it gets no better than that.
So, absolute Stu, I can't help but realize that there's something a little bit different from you and normal Stu. You look a little wolf-like. Can you
That's
maybe
right. And
explain
no
what the heck is
surprise
going
here.
on
We
here?
all know Stu and we all know his tendencies. No surprise here. But yeah, years of predatory practices by the comic book industry have reduced me to my final feral form, and thus this is what you get. But you're welcome.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, absolute Stu, it's been a pleasure-ish talking to you, but I have to ask, and I'm almost afraid.
Last
What is
question, bro.
absolute Eric like?
Absolute Eric is a gimp,
Wh-
a
uh,
gimp
what?
like in Pulp Fiction, but worse. Sorry, boob. Boom tube. Boom tube's calling me back.
What? Boom tube? Oh, okay. Well, we've just had our first presence from an alternate universe on the show here, so that was a lot of fun, and I guess we learned a little bit about Absolute Stu and what Absolute Eric are going to be like. Okay, sorry about the interruption here. I'm sure that my real co-host, real live, not an insulting jerk Stu, will be with us momentarily. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for joining us here. Whoa, what was that we have? Whoa,
Hey, man, what's
Stu,
going on? Sorry I'm late.
you tell me what was going on, man. Did you see that jerk?
What jerk?
Okay, apparently not. Hey, listen, do me a favor next time, be on time for the show. That would be fantastic because alternate universe versions of you are kind of dicks. Just throwing
A
that out
word?
there.
It's weird. It smells like Cheetos and beef jerky in here. It's kind of, it's weird.
I heard the boom tube has that effect on people.
Indeed. Indeed.
So again, everyone in the chat here, welcome to Ink and Insights episode 3 here with 9 Panel Grid and Dr. Doom's fan club. So glad to have you back in our presence here, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing wonderful, dude. So glad to be here with you. on this Wednesday night. A great week of books to break down. A huge week, some big things happening over at DC. But yeah, man, it's been great. We are on the full throes of fall. We got the homecoming game coming up this Friday. Things are getting really chilly here. We're about to have to put on the heat in the house, dude. It's my favorite time of year, brother. It gets
Dude,
no
heck
better.
yeah. It's finally starting to cool down over here. We're back into the low 70s. I can
Oh my
totally accept
god.
that. That's yeah, I know. I know. It's not brisk, but I'll take it.
Amen.
But yeah, man, we had a fantastic week of comics here, man. I
We
was
did.
really excited by the top end of the books that we've gotten here. So I'll let you, since we're on Dr. Doom's fan club here, why don't you go ahead and take over hosting duties since
Yes,
I've done
sir.
my due
Right.
diligence at this point and been
Absolutely.
incredibly
Thank you.
insulted by that shit
Thank you.
werewolf.
Yeah, thank you for your sacrifice, bro. I'm sorry to hear that your absolute version is a gimp, though, bro. I know that must be really disheartening, and I hope you're doing okay with that.
You
Um,
know, I'll survive. I'll survive.
all right, of course. With that amazing comedic intro we just gave y'all, we have to lead into Absolute Batman #1, right? The talk of the town, Snyder and Dragotta reinventing Batman from the ground up, you would say. A book that, I don't think we've seen a book this hotly anticipated from DC this year or in recent memory. Really kind of brought a whole lot of life and buzz and energy to the game that I feel like is always needed. So that was always good to see, just from a publishing standpoint. The excitement, the hype around this book, whether you enjoyed it or you didn't, it was great to see so many people this hype for a book, and yet another reinvention or another Elseworlds Batman.
Dude, yeah, I totally agree, and I think comics more so than almost any medium is a hype machine before anything, right? Like, I mean, that's we live and die by the hype of a book, right? It determines
For
whether you get
true.
3 issues or whether you get 12 issues sometimes. So
Yeah. I was definitely all in on the hype train with this one. I really enjoyed Snyder's Batman run, and Dragotta, East Meets West, and all the incredible books that he's done. Just knowing that he would be behind this character design and the artwork, yeah, it definitely had my full investment. Real quick, let's get to the chat before we get into the book, though. I just want to say hi to everybody in the chat real quick. We got
let's
Verno,
do it.
Station
Bruno,
brother, Christina,
what's up, Christina?
Station. Always good to see you, ma'am. Hope you're doing well. We got the homie Primal Stu. Yep, he made an independent appearance, bro. Hope you're
He
doing
was a
well.
dick.
No,
I'm
he's
sticking by my sentiment.
Oh yeah, fucking 30s here.
30s, Jesus.
But yeah, good to see everybody tonight. Hope everybody's doing well on this Wednesday evening, halfway through October. But yeah, so I don't know how to sum up Absolute Batman. Like we said, a complete reinvention of the character. Our story is kind of narrated by a salt and pepper secret spy Alfred Pennyworth, right? Like it
Yeah.
was, which was dope to me. I like that version of Alfred. He's kind of observing. He's acting on as like an outside, like a hired hand, right? An intelligence agent. Trying to watch Batman and see what he does and interfere if he interferes, right? But
Mhm.
he can't help but watch him in action and be enamored by him, and then slowly try to approach him after he's gone through all the bad guys and get his ass whooped himself, but also get his motorcycle stolen by dude. I just loved how Batman really just like middle classed him throughout the episode. Stole his bike, took his shotgun, repurposed it, made it non-lethal, shot him in the face with it. Like it was. I will say the thing I love most about this is the pulling Bruce down to the middle class, right, and giving him jobs and like all throughout the city. Like he's doing the engineering and he's working on the sewage lines and all that. Like he knows Gotham in and out. He's really a part of the city, and I thought that was super dope, dude. I think everybody's been waiting for that. It's like, yes, part of Batman's mystique is that he's rich and he can fund anything, and build a new Justice League Watchtower, but I just really loved like the way this was set up. And true, we've seen versions of this before, and don't get me wrong, there's a million different great versions out there, but this one struck home to me, and I just love how he lost. Spoilers, obviously, by the way, guys, but also how the tragedy isn't the same. Like the death of his father at the zoo was a great sequence. I thought that ran throughout this issue, and that we find out at the end that his mom's still alive. I just thought that was cool and a unique twist to the character that really worked for me. How did you feel about Snyder putting him as a middle class guy and kind of learning the city from the ground up, doing working every job as a blue collar dude? Did that work for you or no?
When you conceptualize it that way, I like it more than I did on my first read through because, yeah, I'm all in on middle class Bruce, being that I'm a middle class person, been lower middle class my entire life. So seeing a Bruce under those terms, like it just fits so well for me, right? Like it was the first time that Bruce became at the very least somewhat relatable. He's,
Mm,
it kind of conceptualizes Gotham as more of like a Chicago than a New York kind of setting. It's like kind of like a city of broad shoulders. He's the bringing the lunch pail to work kind of dude. And you could tell because there's only one way you get as big as Batman is in this, and it's not by sitting in a boardroom. It's by picking up a sledgehammer and doing some damn work. So, like, it was kind of cool seeing a totally different style of Bruce than we've ever seen before.
yeah, absolutely. And I love how, just kind of in that same vein, like cats like Killer Croc and Selena and Eddie and all these people we've known to be villains are really his childhood friends, right? And I love like
Yeah,
that, him working out at the gym and Killer Croc's there, and like, this is our city, dude. Somebody's got to stand up for it. Like I thought that was such a great way to, like, you have your rogues gallery or whatever, and you're used to them kind of like being reinvented, but always again in the same type of roles where they're against Batman and they're always inevitably going to lean bad, usually more or less. But I love how they're kind of friends of Bruce and how that's going to play out in the future. I thought that was dope. That was super dope. One part I didn't like though was the end with the Joker reveal. I thought that was unnecessary. I did, like, obviously he's going to be somewhere around here, but like for one, feel like there's we talked about this back chat, but like there's other villains he could lean on besides the Joker, that a thousand other that I would like to see him lean on. I just felt like that last page just, it kind of like put a damper or like a wet blanket on such a great issue to me. You know what I mean? And it was unnecessary, and I don't think it added anything good to the book.
yeah, but were you surprised at all when you
No,
saw
I
it?
wasn't.
Yeah,
No. And
no,
like the
nobody
guy who
was.
doesn't laugh and like, ugh. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I could have done without that. But regardless, I thought like we both talked about, one of my favorite parts about this was Dragotta and his character. Like, what did you think about the new bat suit and the
Oh, dude,
physicality of it, right? Like the ears
like
come off, the sigil like turns into an axe, like he's got these wings that are like hooks. Like I loved the suit. Loved it.
it was silly. It was, like, silly in the best way, though. It was, like, kinda
Mhm.
like especially with Dragotta on artwork, it was like Batman by way of Akira or something like that.
Yeah.
It was
That's a good
freaking
call.
wild. Like, there was nothing there was nothing that wasn't cranked up to 11 for this issue, like, at all, and sometimes it really, really works, and sometimes you had to, like, suspend your disbelief and just be like, "Okay, I gotta go along for the ride. Sure, he's got an
Yeah.
axe on his chest. Yes, he does. Of course he does."
Yeah, absolutely. But I love like the cowl or like the cape, and how like both of those are more lethal parts of his arsenal. And I like too, with the narration, like Arthur, like, oh, you're not afraid to get bloody, but you're not hitting any arteries. Like, he's still non-lethal here, but he's willing to color outside the lines a little bit more. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
maybe a
Like,
little bit more, though.
yeah, that was fire. Real quick, let's see what the chat's saying about this one. Curious to see y'all thoughts. Y'all let me know how you felt about Absolute Batman, and if you loved it. We got our boy Fable in the house station, brother. He
Well,
says it was batshit crazy. Amen to that.
yeah,
Our boy
yeah,
Nick,
not wrong.
yep. Our boy Nick says you're high class in our book.
Oh,
Aww.
oh.
our boy Sal in
That
the
was my
house,
absolute
South
Nick, though.
Station.
Totally different
Yeah,
than
it
normal
was definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Nick. Yeah.
Next to his mom, Bruce reminded me of a big kid just trying to protect her. Yeah, I love that shot of our Alfred across the street, right? And he's got the beat on Bruce, and like that shot from behind Bruce and his mom, and he's like that big hulking character, but he doesn't look big, hulking, and brutish. Like he looks vulnerable in that sense. Like that was such
Mhm.
great line work by Dragotta on that. I thought it just conveyed so much emotion without really doing, that much, especially from like behind where you can't really see the faces of the characters. I thought that was fantastic. That utility belt is so 90s. Hell yeah. I like the
Pouches
chest
for
out
days.
part, but come on, says Nick. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, regardless, it was a definite wild ride, dude. And like I'm excited to see where it goes. Like, how are you feeling? Expectations were through the roof, right? How are you feeling now that like the high is worn off and we're kind of like a week in reflection on this thing? How are you feeling about it? Did it land for you, and how are you feeling about the rest of the series?
Um, Man, it is really a mixed bag for me, and I think you hit the nail on the head when you just mentioned expectations. Because yeah, dude, expectations were super high. I remain pumped for the Absolute Universe because I was never a DC kid. Like I just wasn't, and I've tried multiple times, and I was like, okay, this is my in. If there's ever a time, this is the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta get over the expectations because like there's enough fun things in this, right? Like, I mean,
Yes.
you have the slide on there right now with crazy freaking Venom symbiote Spawn Batman there, like, and I want to roll my eyes, I really do. But also, come on, that's gonna be the most fun book that week when we see that suit like really get like pushed to the limits. That's gonna be
Mhm.
buck nutty. So I got to just get over myself and be like, okay, just go along for the ride. Just just do it.
Yeah, dude. And it's like I feel like it's Peter Parker syndrome too. Like the fact that his mom's out there alive, it's like, oh, what's gonna go on? Like, how is that
Yeah,
gonna go? And then what's gonna happen to the character? So, um, yeah, dude. I agree with your assessment. It's definitely like you almost want to roll your eyes. It is very Spanish, but at the same time, it works. And it just like I'm just excited to see um how much it connected with like so many people, and I can't help but have that part of being like that is part of my enjoyment of the book, right? And that's like gonna endear me to it more. It's like when books like land like that, and there at least is a good part of it that's speaking to me, and like just to see it kind of catch like wildfire across the industry the way this one has, like it's great to see, man. And I can't wait to see, dude, that absolute Wonder Woman design is so tough, right?
that is
Like,
what I'm the most pumped for, man. I
yes.
really, really need that book in my life because Kelly Thompson is awesome and Hayden Sherman just continues to get better and better and better with every series that they're on. So like, yeah, bring that. I'm so ready for that. And please
And
don't let me down
I
now that
can't
I'm
get
setting the
the
expectations.
no, right, I can't get the design that Wes Craig shot out of my head from the All In special, just of her on that like horse, and oh man, looks so
Oh,
badass.
dude, so
Can't
so
wait to
many
see that
artists have
come to
already thrown
fruition.
out their interpretation, like whether it's variant covers or just like fan art and stuff like that. I think Wonder Woman is really going to hit hard for people, if just by character design alone. But you got to imagine the story is going to have some kind of like some substance, you know?
Yeah. It's a great year for Diana, dude. And I heard Robbie just listening to his comic review this morning, singing the praise of the latest edition or issue of Wonder Woman with Pick of the Week. So it's just good to see her back on top and big
Oh
in
wow,
important ways. You know what I mean? Yeah. Robbie said it was one of the best Wonder Woman comics he's ever read, period, this past issue. So super excited for it. And it's just good to hear that like Diane is out here killing it on more than one front, man. Well deserved. You know what I mean? It's good to see the Trinity strong and healthy. But
yeah, yeah. When they're strong, DC is strong, right? It's the same thing way back in the early 2000s when Grant Morrison came on and revitalized Justice League. He broke it down to what was needed, the gods amongst men, basically. So like, you can't go wrong when they're doing good.
yeah, hell yeah. Fable says, I hear you were similar in that way. I mean, where else can you go with Batman, right? You kind of got to do stuff like this. Amen, bro. And then
Yeah.
definitely what I'm looking forward to the most. Nick says it was okay. There we go.
Way to keep
There
it
we
real,
go.
man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's 616 Nick right there. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, that's Nick Prime. We know that.
All right, brother. Moving on to, in DC. Your pick of the week, man. Action Comics 1070. Talk about it real quick, bro.
Yeah, Action Comics, man. Like, well, Mark Waid is the writer on this, so I was gonna give it a shot anyway. I was dabbling. I was kind of like picking and choosing. With like the House of Brainiac event was really awesome when Joshua Williamson was kind of ping ponging back and forth, and then Gal Simone had some issues that really didn't resonate. But then again, you knew it was like a mini filler arc, so like those are kind of, I don't want to say designed to fail, but they're never gonna hit you as hard as anything else can.
Mhm.
But Mark Waid, I gotta give a shot because he's kind of like the perfect style writer for an Action Comics book. So like I dove in and it was everything that I was looking for. Like, yeah, let me take another look here. So this all revolves around the Phantom Zone, and just like I was saying, I was never a DC kid growing up, so I don't have a lot of background on stuff, but I understand the Phantom Zone. I know its purpose. I know why it's there, but it's crazy to think that we've never gotten a look inside the Phantom Zone, and we've never
Bro, I
really
was
gotten the Phantom Zone's
yes.
origins. Like low hanging fruit, but Mark Waid was there to pluck that freaking fruit and build something that looks like it's going to be awesome from it. So we get an escape from the Phantom Zone, which isn't anything new. We've seen that before, but what we haven't seen is like the grotesque, like body horror. Like this is like Cronenberg, like in the very beginning of this issue. It is
Yeah,
some
bro.
creepy,
It really
gnarly
is.
stuff that they're
That's
dealing with.
a great call. Yeah. Cronenberg making
Yeah,
a appearance on the last two Ink and Insights. By comparison, I love it. You know what I'm saying? We got
that's
Cronenberg
yeah,
references
dude. I
going
think
on all over the place right here.
body horror is a thing, man. Like I don't know, it's resonating, I guess.
Absolutely.
But
That's a great call, though. It
yeah,
definitely is. Yeah.
and I love how classic this looks too. Like you look at the Phantom Zone projector, and it's just like that is something like right out of the earliest comic books that we've ever gotten. And I love that they just like don't try to modernize it. They don't try to make it high tech or anything. It just is what it is.
Now, isn't there like a
But
sign next to it, like the Phantom Zone projector, do not touch, or something like that? I think there's
yeah, exactly.
like in one of these panels that we don't see. Yeah. Like I love that.
Yeah. So this is like really the first half of the issue is that we're dealing with the monster, Kryptonians that escape. The other part, we get to spend time with Clark and Superman, and the best thing from the Superman stories that really hit for me are when you really get the true like essence of Superman. You understand why he is the way he is, why he makes the decisions that he does, why he's just such a caring person, like this beacon of hope, that would like in the purest form, like what Superman is. And we get those moments. We get these awesome panels where we get to see his action put into play, which Clayton Henry does like amazingly. I love like just the back and forth. You could tell the super speed is hitting, and he's just taking out
Yeah.
as many things as possible when this Kryptonian monster is wreaking havoc. And then you get to see like the super speed. I love like the dynamic quality of that, and how you can kind of see the perspective that's put into play. But then the panel at the bottom here, where he's just kind of reasoning with Lois, saying like, we've talked about this. You know why I have to go in there. I don't care if they're the gnarliest, baddest people on the face of this universe, let alone planet. They're hurting. And if someone's
Yeah.
hurting, Superman needs to stand up and help.
He
That's
says
the
they hate me in
mentality.
there. They hate me in there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But like if they're hurting or they're like they're not getting a fair shake, I got to do something about it. And like I thought that's so true what you said about Wade too. Like and the way he wrote the Phantom Zone and like Superman kind of speaking about it in this issue, it has become this like blank check repository of all things bad for Superman. You know what I mean? Like so much
Yeah.
stuff has been dumped in there and we don't know like so I thought it was a brilliant idea to kind of like make what's going on then and there like the central part of his arc and what
Hmm.
Superman has to face. I thought that was very well done and needed. We need to address
Yeah.
that.
And it's kind of that Halloween season, right? And it kind of reminds me of Ghostbusters, man. The containment unit for the
Yeah.
ghosts. How many
There you
ghosts you gonna put in there until that sucker is
go.
getting ready to explode, right? So
Great
that's
call,
it. It
dude.
just hits so hard with me. But again,
Yeah.
Mark Waid, his run on Captain America, his multiple runs on Captain America at this point, really hit the same kind of vein where it's just pure, unadulterated hope and like I don't know, just Yeah, just that yearning to like to help people in need. It was the same thing with Steve Rogers at Marvel. It's the same thing with Clark Kal-El as Superman here. Mark
Yeah.
Waid just hits it perfectly.
Dude, it's like it's so well represented in how he writes Jimmy Olsen, I feel like, in this story. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
every bit, like all of that that DC do-goodedness comes through, and like how
Mhm.
Jimmy carries himself from getting the photo early on, like, you know, hanging upside down. I love that
And
interaction
it's
between like, how are you planning on getting down, bro? You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah, it's like
so
G
true to his
Willikers
character.
enough, but like it doesn't like get too much to where you're like, really, dude, come on.
Yeah,
Like it never
exactly.
gets to that point.
Yeah, G Willikers enough is a great way to put it, because that's definitely Jimmy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. Rogue in the house. Rogue, what up, bro?
Rogue, what
Station, good to
up?
see you as always, man. Yeah, Nick says happy new comic book day. Happy new comic book day, everybody. We'll
Ooh,
get to those new
Sale's
releases
talking
here.
about a decal variant. Which one are you talking about, man?
That's Nick's in here freaking getting the thirst trap going. There's
Yeah,
no
he has a way of
frisson,
doing it.
but there's a decal, so it's all good. So we're
Oh, for
glad
Wonder
Nick,
Woman.
yeah,
Okay.
Nick will be able to
Wonder
sleep
Woman's
tight
gonna
at
do some
night.
damage on New
Yeah,
Comic Book Day.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get to the House of Ideas and Ultimates number 9, dude. My damn, this book might have been my pick of the week. Honestly, dude, I love this book so much. I thought it was a. I was gonna try to include some of the slides, but I just thought it'd be a little bit of overkill, and I didn't want to take away from what this book did. But so many great references to Fraction and Aha's run in here, and especially if you remember issue 3, which we saw come to screen on the Hawkeye show, but the cherry bomb car
Mhm.
chase with the tracksuit mafia, in which Kate is using all sorts of different arrows, and they got that idea from a old Elliot Brown Hawkeye annual, in which he kind of went through Hawkeye's what is it, quiver or whatever, and showed all his arrows and all the different types of technology he had. I thought it's just a brilliant way of recycling and reusing the same idea in new and super interesting ways. Even in the Disney Plus series, they did something cool with the Pym particle arrow that got super big.
That
That
was dope.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a cool way to incorporate the MCU into a story they had gotten from a comic book. So, an idea they had gotten from a comic book. But yeah, this one where we get introduced to our ultimate Hawkeye, right? And it's a pretty the episode isn't, or the issue isn't super complex, right? There's basically an eco terrorist going around with Stark technology, these self-replicating uh like arrows that he created and they gave to Hawkeye, but he left in the trash, and she picked up along the way, and she's been taking out Roxxon, you know oil pipelines and this, that, and the third in the meantime, and it's become an issue now to where they can't ignore it. And who else does Iron Lad send out to handle the problem but Captain America? And it's just like the best. It's, to me, it's the best of both worlds, and like you get a great fresh introduction to this new character and this new version of Hawkeye, but it's also Cap doing Cap things, doing that exposition as he fights real well, and like he's a new player in this game too, right? He just got iced out
Mhm.
or thought out. He's still been learning the way the world works and his history lessons as well. But I just love how you can see moments throughout this conversation where she's convincing him of her point of view, right? You can see like she's talking some sense into him or making him think twice about things that he might not be mulling over normally. I thought that was like one of the brilliant parts of just that whole back and forth by camp, just like that whole chessboard between these two. And you punctuate it with these great action shots, her pulling out these different arrows. He throws a shield at her, she pulls out an inertia canceling arrow, or she pulls out like a
That was
grenade
awesome.
bomb arrow. Yeah, and she's really giving him a run for his money with all these arrows that she's pulling out. And he's got responses to some of them, but really he's just kind of holding on for bare life, right? For his bare life. And he's
Mhm.
like, she's really making him work for it. And throughout these two are having this conversation about what it means to be a hero, about what it means to be American, what it means to earn these tools and these like augmented abilities, right? And like who's worthy and who's not. Just like like um all the things that you like sometimes automatically assume or take for granted. I think they put on this, in a spotlight in a really beautiful and unique way here. Like I said,
Mhm.
like I don't care if I had to dig my destiny out of a dumpster, it's still mine. When she's talking about the suit,
Yeah,
I
that was
love
a
this
beautiful
part.
line.
She introduces herself as Charlie Hawk's Eyes or whatever, and then at the end of the issue, oh, hold on, I got it here. But is that your real name? You like you white people believe anything. I just love that. But I love
Yeah,
how
really.
eventually it's like, you know, Cap and her are taking on this group of I guess Roxxon folks or whatever that show up and laying waste to a vast they're outnumbered by huge numbers. The odds are against them. Things don't look good, but of course she's no slouch and they're able to handle the competition with ease. And he had made up his mind, somewhere in the middle of this conversation, that she was good enough and that she was worthy enough. I love the point. She's like, what are you going to tell Iron Lad? And like Cap's like, that he didn't miss. I thought that was such a great line. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I just like, dude, I think when you talk about character introductions and not only that, but kind of putting like what it is to be a superhero under the spotlight and also honoring the books and the shows and the things that have come before us. This book had everything you could possibly want. This combined with the last one, with the creation of the Ultimate Doom, dude, these last two issues have made this, to me, the flagship Ultimate book, not Ultimate Spider-Man. This one is the one for me. And um I'm just off the high of these last two issues. To me, they have been two of my favorite comics this year, just single issues. And I thought they just did masterful jobs, like storytelling, the art, like I said, like giving nods to what came before you. This one had it all for me, man. And um I can't sing its praises enough, dude. So Ultimate's number 9, or Ultimate's number 5. I'm sorry. I think I got the number wrong, didn't I? It's number 5, right? Because was it number 4, the Doom issue?
Let's find out.
I think I got that number wrong.
Da, 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 da. It's number 5, yeah. Whoops.
Okay. Yeah. No, all good. Yeah, Ultimate's number 5, y'all. And number 4, the issue before with the creation of Ultimate Doom. I can't recommend these two enough, man. Dennis Camp doing some seriously great work. The most Hickmanese of the Hickman writing coming out these days. Dude, how
Yes.
did you feel about this one? Sorry for hogging the mic on it, but did you enjoy
No,
this
no,
one?
no, man. We're fucking roll with it, dude. Like this is a book worth talking about, man. So like, I'm glad that you spoke, spoke your piece about it because I thought that this is the linchpin of the Ultimate Universe since issue number one hit. I've loved this series from the very jump. And this issue was definitely one of the I mean, it's really just second to the previous issue, the one that kind of spelled out Doom, his past, his present, and a little bit of his future too. But this issue was awesome. And I love the way that they play with the new Hawkeye being this eco terrorist because it kind of it toys with the notion of just like 616 Hawkeye. He was a villain at first before he took on
Mm,
his heroic role. Same thing with our new character here. Like, I mean, they're doing things for they're doing they're trying to do just things, but they're doing it the wrong way. And yeah, I don't know. I love the way that they convey that, what they, how they bring that forward. And but like you said, it's kind of like with Cap. I love the way that he identifies that and sees that within the person themselves, and is able to like just say, "Hey, like you said, no, the arrow didn't miss. It was absolutely perfect." I'm not a big believer that I hear this a lot, and I like comics get preachy, and I'm not a believer that comics can get too preachy or not preachy enough or whatever the case may be. I think it's all just a matter of whether the things that you're putting into the story are in service to that story. And I think that Dennis Camp is playing with big ideas that resonates even in the world that we live in today, but he's doing it at the service of the story first. So when he's doing that, the story is enriching, it's engrossing, but there's also meat on that bone. There's something that they're saying that you can pick up on, and it hits harder when all those things work in conjunction. Dennis Camp is doing that within the pages of the Ultimates, and it's so great to see that in a Marvel book.
Yeah, dude. So your favorite Ultimate book out there right now as well?
It has to be. It has to be. Like,
Yeah.
but that goes to show the strength of the Ultimate line right now too, because at the worst, every book is interesting. At the best,
Yeah,
it's the
that's
best that
facts.
Marvel is putting out right now.
Yeah, that's facts. And it's crazy because like it's still so disjointed, and it's we're still wondering how it's all like, an ultimate line together. But yeah, they each
Yeah,
book
it's
has
all a countdown.
definitely, yeah, definitely good things going for it. Real quick, let me jump back to the chat. A couple people came in here. Bobo, good to see you,
Bubbo, what's
bro.
up?
Bobbio just off a great appearance on Omni X-Men, kicking off
That's
the New
right.
Mutant season last week. Our boy Scotty Vaughn in the house. Scotty, good to see you, bro.
What up, Scotty?
As always. Rogue said Charlie is non-binary, just a heads up. Cam said they identify as a two-spirit and uses they, them. All right, good looking out, bro. I did not know
Yeah,
that, so
definitely.
I appreciate that. Spillio, hey everyone, love seeing a lot of my friends tonight. What up, bro? Good to see you as always, Spills. Hope you're doing well, brother. Let me see. I missed everybody else. I think that's about it. Oh, we got Rogue in there. Oh, we said how did we say hi to Rogue? We said hi to Rogue.
We can never say hi to Rogue too much.
Rogue, what up? Fable also wanted to say, yeah, video drone tomorrow on Blood Splatter Chatter. More Cronenberg coverage at 9 o'clock Eastern. Y'all make sure you check that out.
Cronenberg is in the air.
Oh, yeah. All right. I think that'll do it for the chat hellos. But yeah, moving on to your Marvel pick of the week, bro. Phoenix #4. Talk to me.
Dude, huge surprise for me.
Yeah.
I did not think that I didn't think I was gonna like this series, let alone still continue reading it by issue number 4. I'm digging this series, man. Like, it's Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force totally away from the X-Men, totally disconnected. There is no connective tissue whatsoever. It's just her doing cosmic, being cosmic, and I'm here for it, dude. It is awesome kind of seeing a character as powerful as Jean Grey gets to kind of just let loose and have fun and kind of live in a world that we don't get to see. So this story is kind of everything. Nothing is finalized yet, but it's still toying with some ideas from back in the day, right? It's Jean kind of she's in control of the Phoenix Force, but she's having conversations with Carol that I think are really kind of cool for those characters to have a back and forth on when they're talking about things like, like controlling their powers. Carol obviously has her powers, being Captain Marvel, but she also has her powers or had her powers when she was the binary character as well. And in both circumstances, she had to learn to figure out how to navigate this, what that all meant and how to control that kind of stuff. And Jean Grey has very much been in the same, in the same boat. And even at this point, she's like, I keep the Phoenix at bay. I don't fear that I'm going to lose control, but I also don't lean in and I don't like really give into that. And she's like, well, are you really in control of it? If you were in control of it, wouldn't you allow yourself to know that you would regain control after a while? So it's kind of cool when they're toying with those notions. But as that's all happening, we ping pong right over to the Shi'ar Empire and the Galactic, Council saying Jean Grey's out there and she's the Phoenix. And we know what that's capable of because we've already seen planets get blown up, which like we're still hearkening back to things from the Claremont time frame, which I appreciate as an old school reader. And I hope that this is something that can really maybe finalize that kind of stuff and kind of like push the Phoenix and Jean Grey forward rather than looking backwards as well. So I think it's done in a well enough manner where we can play in that playground a little bit longer, but let's make this the last thing that we do. Characters like Gladiator as well. It's always fun to see him. I'm a sucker.
Agreed.
Like, yeah, you give me the Shi'ar Empire, you give me like, Deathbird, you give me Lilandra, like I'm a happy camper. You throw some Brood in there and I'm eating good. So this was an awesome issue to like, to kind of take those things in again. So all the while we're working with those things, Jean is really having like she's in the middle of a celebration as the Kree Skrull Alliance is kind of like celebrating an anniversary of them putting aside the war that they've had between the two. But after all is said and done, she goes to freaking war with Gore the God Butcher, and it was awesome. Alessandro Miracolo is the artist on here, And dude, like I said it in my review video, and I'll say it again here. I very honestly think he's one of the absolute best artists that Marvel has in the bullpen right now.
Wow.
Combining his artwork with the color work that you see here, which you get to be super playful when you're coloring Phoenix because you get the dark of space, you get the light of the Phoenix. There's a lot of contrast between those two things, so you get to play a lot with it. But dude, like, look at the rendering on Gore here, and look how awesome that looks here. And he's still kind of got that, symbiotic, power. Not necessarily a
Yeah.
symbiote, but he was wielding Null's sword for a little bit, so he still kind of got that thing. That is like straight up McFarlane influenced like tendrils coming off of that character. So
Dude,
it
and I'll
was
say this, like,
awesome.
Gore's tough, right? Because Isad Ribic is like the artist we all know for him. So like that image is always burned in our brain. So yeah, like when I was reading this, I was very impressed at like all the different Gore renderings and how well they were done. Like because
Hmm.
I don't it's kind of intimidating, or at least I think it would be for an artist coming off such a legendary run as that Jason Aaron run, and of course being further immortalized in the MCU. But yeah, I thought they did a fantastic job of artwork, dude. I have to. What else? Do you know anything else that they've done at Marvel before this book? Or
No, this
okay,
was the app. This series was the first introduction I've had to their artwork. But rest assured, I'll if I see their name on a book, I might at least toss an issue or two on my pull list to see what's going on.
hell yeah, same, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
yeah,
and I love
yeah,
the verbiage that they have here when they're spelling out the fight, and Jean has her inner monologue, and she's kind of like just like, I understand the notion of Gore. Gore is nothing. He was born from nothing. He is darkness. He believes in nothing, and I understand why that makes him so powerful. But I'm the Phoenix, and I understand, life, and I understand power just as equally as him on the other spectrum. So we got to go do battle.
yeah, dude. And the like, I don't want to spoil it, but the ending is so fire, right? And like
Yeah.
the way that's like that's pulled back through. What is it? Super Guardians narration. I love that, man. So well
Hmm.
done. Yeah. All right. Let's move it on over to oh god, I got ahead of myself, folks. Sorry. On over to the Indie Island and see where we're at for this week. My pick, I could have gone Precious Metal, of course, but we're gonna save that
I think
one
we
for
both could have. Yeah.
yeah, a beautiful sunny day when we can discuss that at length. But Geiger #7, man, I just really, especially the last two issues. This one was okay. Don't get me wrong; it's still a solid issue, but the last two issues I've really been enjoying, and yeah, I was looking forward to this book a lot. It was solid though. I will say, I think I, along with everybody else, was a little hung up when I saw that there was going to be a change in artwork, but I feel like that they did a really Ghost Machine did a really good job and handling that, and you really you don't miss much, honestly. With
Mm-mm.
what's is it Gary Frank, right? Is the
Gary Frank. Yeah.
yeah Gary Frank? No, yeah, you don't really miss much in terms of aesthetic and the way things are um, pulled off here by I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Yeah, I'm gonna let you
Which
give it
one?
a shot. The artist's
For
last
the
name.
artist?
Yeah,
Oh, come on. Being a Frenchman myself, Pelletier.
you're such a jackass. I'm glad Absolute Stu was mean to you.
Yeah, I bet you
Yeah.
were. I bet you were.
Yeah, but does a great job, I think, definitely carrying the torch of this issue, right? So picking up from last issue, our homeboy, our knight, our assistant to Tariq, he's kind of like, he's full of his mission, right? Like these guys are fighting for the forces of good, right? And like I think this issue sees that faith shaken a little bit, which I liked, and also him trying to grapple with his past, who he once was, these people in it, and obviously watching an old friend of his get burnt out like this, has a humbling and horrifying effect on him. But dude, this death was epic early on, right? He's trying to talk sense into his old buddy that this is another Atomic Knight. He goes at him, calls him a traitor, sticks a knife in his side, and eventually Geiger saves him right here. I see
Mhm.
the light, the same light that destroyed our world. a super epic death he has. But our boy is conflicted. Later on in the car ride, he's like, "Do you just take it out on the world sometimes because you don't have anybody to blame?" And Tariq is basically like, "Yeah, sometimes that's just how I feel. I want to take it out on everybody." So I think he's kind of, you know, and they have a additional episode where they run into some people in trouble, and Geiger and him help him out, but he's also trying to, I think, convince himself that they're doing the right thing. He is on the path of the righteous, and that he left behind everything he knew and he loved, and his old order to help this man, and he sees him as right now as the ultimate light for the good. But I think that could just as easily break the other way, given what Tariq's been through, the pain he's carrying around, and how he constantly lashes out at the world, and just the volatility of his power, and his chemical makeup is just something to be wary of. So I just thought it was a great, some of these other issues have been a lot bigger, and events and things have happened. This one just had a couple small things going on, but I thought it was great in that we saw the seeds of doubt kind of growing in this guy's mind, right?
Mhm.
That really worked for me. But yeah, and then we see what's this guy's name? I forget all these characters' names, dude.
Uh,
Uh,
I don't. Did we get a name? I mean, the Golden
yeah,
King. That's
right.
yeah.
Something
Something
like
along
that.
those lines.
Yeah, and he's he understands like what's at stake with Geiger and his power, and his out to out to get him, and he understands that if he can gets and controls Geiger, he can control the world. And I think people, it's growing to the Geiger and his world around him has come to realize that you know he's better dealt with, controlled and harnessed, and not let loose. He's not going to be some wayward drifter, saving people here and there forever. He's got real forces of power after him now, and
Mhm.
understanding the effect he can have on this world. So I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be his walk through the desert saving everybody right and left. I think he's on the run. Like, and you hear one of these guys say, like, he's real easy to track, dude. Just follow the glowing footprints. It's so
Yes.
it's, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where Tariq's fate ends up. How he's able to control those demons and that pain, and that all that from his past, to see where this night's going to end up, what side of the fence he's going to end up on, what decisions he's going to make. And I love how they're collecting these animals along the way as well. Like an
Yeah.
animal, dude. The animal's always like Barney, and now what's the zebra's name? But like they,
Stripes or
they
something
all,
like that, right?
yeah, they
Stripey.
always, yeah, they always pull you in closer, and now we got another one. So I don't know, man. It's great. I think it's done such great and inventive and different things this second go around, this second volume, and it's been a joy, dude. So I don't know. Enough of my rambling. How are you feeling about Geiger number 7, bro, and the series at large?
Oh, dude, I'm digging it. I'm digging it so much. And I had the same worries as you when I saw that Gary Frank wasn't going to be on this issue.
Right?
But I got to look at books like I hate to say it, but Batman and even Daredevil on Chip Zdarsky's run on each one. Dude, when the art changes occur on that book, it is so jarring and it takes you completely out of it. Because stylistically, the people
Yeah.
that they chose were so different. Not bad, just so different. This is not that case. It's not necessarily Gary Frank, but it's still in that same vein. It still has that same feel to it. It still has like a classic comic booky kind of feel to it. So I got to appreciate the fact that they still stayed on brand with the art style. That helped quite a bit. This issue was all about the ward though. Like I think what is his, oh gosh,
I
I
don't
can't
know.
think of
That's
his
what I
name
think.
now.
These names, I know, right?
Yeah,
These
yeah,
damn
it's
names.
tough, but like you said, he was trying to convince, his old boss basically. He's like, dude, don't do this, right? And it was more
Yeah.
than convincing him. He pleaded with him. He's just like, no, it's like you're gonna die if you don't do this. Like you got to stand down. You're a good man. And he spells out all the reasons that he was a good man. He's like, no, you don't understand. This guy, like, he let families escape. He let people live. Like he saved my life a couple times.
That's right. He
And the thing is,
references
like,
that one event, where he
yeah,
did the right thing, and yeah,
and like Geiger's not wrong either, because like he takes the dude out and he's just like, yeah, okay, well, go ahead and ask for favors when you don't have a knife stuck in your side, maybe next time, because like dude did stick him. Like, I mean, so it's like Geiger, like you can't say that he did anything wrong. Like he was still kind of protecting him, but just like we saw at the end of the issue here, like he's gonna reap the consequences of all of the actions that he's taking by just thinking he's an all-powerful being that's just on like this, war path to get whatever the heck he wants, because that this is setting up the next big bad that's going to hunt him down, and maybe he's not going to be as forgiving as the dude that he just burned alive.
yeah, because it's all very sudden too. Like, remember, he's lying there on the ground and he rips his armor off, and he's like, "I have to cauterize your wound." He's like, "Just wait a minute, give me a second." He's like,
Yeah.
like he's very, it's all black and white with Tariq, man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, exactly.
there's no room for gray with him. But yeah, yeah, like you said, dude, his recklessness and his like, you I think he thinks he's truly bulletproof at this point. And I think like the electrician laid him low, but it seemed like he's already forgotten that. And I don't know.
I will say this though, like I would
Fable's,
love to have Tariq Geiger as a friend amongst a group of friends. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Oh, okay. It's like you need a Geiger amongst a group of friends, like when you're all going out to a restaurant and people are like, "Well, what do you want?" Nah, I don't really care. You pick whatever you want. No, no, no. You pick whatever you want. And Geiger would be like, "We're going to Applebee's. Get in the car."
Yeah. You're getting the popcorn chicken. You're getting the wings. Yeah,
Yeah,
that totally be him.
exactly.
Yeah, Fables has been stacking Phoenix. Looking forward to reading it. Spelio says it's been a great surprise. Oh yeah. Fable says still need that zebra cover. Yeah, apparently they did 2 different cover A's for this book, which is interesting.
How could you
They
have
had a
two cover
split,
A's? That doesn't make any
right?
sense.
That's just like, what are you trying to do to us, man? Come on. And yeah, don't let that focus and stay. Yeah, please don't. Definitely lose about
Let's
5
hear.
viewers on average. All right, bro. Your indie book, public domain number 9.
Ah,
Zdarsky doing it all here.
I love this book so much, man. This is a laugh riot through and through. If you read comics, if you create comics, if you know what a comic book is, you're gonna find something to enjoy from this book, because it all revolves around people regaining the rights to a comic book, kind of like a property that came out in the 60s, kind of like a Marvel, a DC, and putting it into under the microscope in like the most hilarious ways possible. And this issue revolves all around going to a comic book convention, which, if you haven't had the pleasure of going to one, they're not for normal people under the best circumstances. They're they're just a little bit kooky, they're crazy, and I love that they're speaking to the roles within the comic book industry as well. Like, you got
Yeah.
the writer of the comic, you have the new artist, you have the co-writers, I should say. And there's like, hey, here at Dallas Comics, we respect the artistry of letterers. And then the editor pops in right away and she's like, just not enough to pay for their flight to a Comic Con. Like, just the most shit on, disrespected people within the industry, the letterers. But we know which ones we like, and they get their flowers, definitely, for sure. The other thing too is just like the power players amongst the comic book industry, the people we
Yeah.
always talk about. You had mentioned one before, the Hickman. People are, we speak in terms of like, oh, it's Hickman-esque, right? Like, where else do we do that? Like, maybe in sports we'd be like, oh, that was a Brady type throw or something like that. But like, we idolize some of these people, and we know for a fact that it goes right to their heads, which is
Yeah.
like perfect for this character of Carter Dusk, who is
Carter
like,
Dusk is so good.
it's like the amalgamation of like every British invasion writer that came,
Yes.
in the Vertigo era. like just like smashed into one who is like totally high on their own supply and is just bought totally into this. And like when they're talking about like the concept of this character, the domain, which is like just a generic kind of superhero. And like his idea for the book is like, oh, we're going to have him fight himself. But in fighting himself, he realized that he's fighting God, and
Yeah,
God is
it
nothing more
becomes
than a
war.
construct of man. And it's like, oh my God, dude. Like, and you, the original creator's like, what the hell are you even talking about? They have magical bracelets that give them powers and they fight super villains.
Yeah, dude, it's
But
like that was like that ran in my head. I'm like, that book sounds ridiculous, and then like that little voice in the back of my head is like, pretty sure you read and liked a book like that before, dude. You know?
yeah, yeah, and I love that the people that just don't give like two craps about any of this, namely the brother character that's in this book. He doesn't know who Carter Dusk is, and if you're roaming around a comic book convention, let's be honest, both you and I would probably be the guys that would be fanning ourselves off like it's Carter Dusk. Carter Dusk is coming this way. Oh my God, be cool, be cool, be cool. And this guy's like, oh hey Carter, can we get started with a beer? Maybe get some appetizers going. He's like, no, you don't understand. I'm Mr. Carter Dusk. He's like, okay, Mr. Carter Dusk, we need some appetizers, please.
Yeah, dude, I
It's
completely agree.
yeah,
Like the amalgam is like so great, right? And like I love the look on him too. Like he looks like Alan Moore meets Neil Gaiman meets like you know what I mean. Like he looks like all of them smashed together. It's
he got a
so
little
it
bit of
was such a
Kate's there.
beautiful.
He's got like 2% Kate's, just
He
a dash.
does. He does. He absolutely does. But yeah, I could read this like meta commentary on the industry that Chip does through this book, like just nonstop, man. It's fascinating. You can really see how much he loves this shit in this game, like through this comic, man. It's beautiful to see because it's so dead on, and it really I feel like it gives me insight that I don't normally see. I love that bit where they're trying to this. I don't even know if it's in this issue, but the issue where they're trying to, or the little sequence where they're trying to hire colorists, right? And they're like,
Yes.
so I've never colored anything, but I have a degree in fine arts. And then the one guy's like, so I really like brown. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like all the different characters they run through in the interview. It's like, man, I can't even imagine what it's like trying to get and the one guy's like, yeah, so I have about 113 other projects I'm coloring, but there shouldn't be any reason why I can't fit this one in too. Like there's so many archetypes and like characters there that like you feel like you can identify throughout the industry, man. It's just so well done.
Oh yeah.
It's such a joy to read. It really is. I love it.
And that's the thing about like Chip Zdarsky's just attitude in general and his approach. He's so hilarious, but it's like, especially when he puts the comic book industry under a microscope, it's like giving it a Charlie horse, but one that comes with a little bit of love and care. Like you don't feel terrible. You're like, oh man, that freaking hurt. But thank
Yeah,
you.
dude.
Because I
Yeah.
love that you
There's a
said that.
couple times like he drops bombs in here a couple times. I'm like, okay, Chip. Like, you know what I mean? He takes a
Yeah.
couple good shots, but like he always covers it up in that glib little way that he does, where like some of those punches hurt for a second, but then you kind of forget about them. You know what I mean? Or they land softer, I guess, than you thought they first did. But yeah,
Dude,
dude, I think
if
it's
he didn't have a little
fantastic.
yeah, if he didn't have a little class and charm, after everything he said, he would look right at the camera, just give it a little wink, like you're in on the joke. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And yes, we are,
absolutely.
Chip. We are.
Yeah.
The other thing that they put under the microscope is the panels at a comic book convention, specifically like a San Diego Comic-Con type thing, a Hall H panel. And the premise of this story, rights to his comic, but in a agreement that's made between the two big creators, kind of like our Stan and Jack archetypes, they've decided that, hey, we could both publish our own books. You publish your domain over here. I'm going to publish my domain over here. And the Jack character thinks like, hey, all is good now. We're going to walk away and do our own things and no harm, no foul. Whereas the Stan type character is like, I'm going to burn you to the ground. And this is the first step in my plan to like destroy you. Whereas he puts together a competition or like a competitive panel that happens at the same time as their panel, and they just so happen to get the actors who are portraying these characters from their MCU type of version in there. And I love that the character of the son of the character comes in here and just barges in on the panel and just blows the whole thing up. And
Yeah.
our highfalutin, Neil Gaiman archetype type character here is like, let's not worry too much about him. He clearly needs mental help. He needs our assistance. And he's just like, screw you, Dracula Jones. I was rolling. I had to put the comic down when I read that. I was like, oh my God. Oh, that's so brilliant and so stupid at the same time. It just makes it so worthwhile. So,
Yeah, dude,
and
like
also for the person that left me a comment on my video, who's Dracula Jones? That guy. That's Dracula Jones right there.
it's so yeah, it was so good in the send up. And I love how they poached the editor from The Office or whatever, you know what I mean? And like now they got her working for, and he thinks like she's going to be a proponent for him and nostalgia, but she's, all about fresh new ideas. And I just love the way she turns around The Office. But yeah, I just love the dichotomy between his sons. Like he's got this one who's like a feisty, like they both don't want to be involved, but they want to be involved. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's just, and they're trying to figure out their roles and responsibility. It's just it's not only like a great family drama, but yeah, dude, it's just such a great love letter to the industry and to comic books in general. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it all
Like I
feels real
said,
enough, but also elevated, like an elevated sense
yes,
of self as well. It's not real, but it feels kind of like it could be.
yeah, like I said, I could read something like this from Chip all day. All right, so
Absolutely.
that will do it for our coverage of the comics from last week. Um, Left off a couple good ones. Nothing I'm too sad about. We'll get to Precious Metal here in depth someday soon, I promise. But yeah, let's get to our covers of the week, man. I will go first. Alex Ross. What?
Dude,
We're bringing back
dude.
this. Like I think this was Terminator: Burning Earth, his first work, which is kind of insane to think. Um, this was on a trade, as I understand it, a trade paperback that got printed once and then never got reprinted. But they brought the bad boy out for Terminator 1 this past week. Talk, what up, bro? Station. Yeah, so that's my number one. Of course, I get two because I'm special.
You're number one, yeah.
Number two is Doom. I
Which
forgot
one
the
is
art
Absolute
on
Stu's
this.
pick? Just out of curiosity.
Absolute Pick is cover number three. If you don't,
Oh shit.
um, Fantastic Four. Who did this? I should have freaking done my research. Sorry, guys. But yeah, this is the Doom variant. This was my favorite Doom variant of the week. I'm going to try to highlight one each week that they come out, which will probably be from here until 2026. So
Yeah,
yeah,
show of
look
hands.
out for
Who's
that and
shocked?
enjoy
Who's
it.
shocked by this notion? I can't believe it.
But yeah, just a great Doom with Mr. Fantastic and the Chokehold and the rest of the first family, down and out around them. What more could you ask for? So those are my two covers of the week. How about you, bro?
Let's see. Man, this cover hits so hard, and I wish that the book hit equally as hard. But dude, the Sentinels cover here, and dude, I'm right there with you. I can't remember the artist who did this. But man, it looks so striking. It looks so bold. Like I love
That
the choice of
looks like
colors.
it's not Ribic or something.
It's kind of got those feels, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like just and the simplicity of some of it too. Like you could tell, like definitely like on the power that's emanating from the guy's hands. It's flat. It's just flat color, but it pops so hard off of the white that's on there and the gradation that's
Yes.
on the suits themselves. Sick cover, killer. Definitely worth it if just for the cover alone.
Yeah. That's really like offensive. You're going to use a word like gradation with me in a conversation and just keep it moving. Like that's fine. Um, you
Color
gotta
pretty.
so, exactly, man. I'm gonna take it as disrespect if I don't understand it. Book out of the blue for you this week, bro. Transformers.
Dude, Transformers. And like, okay,
I'm
so
glad
I
you're
should
finally on the
probably give the
Transformers
precursor.
train. Yeah.
It's yeah, well, that's the thing. It's not my book out of the blue necessarily, like because I knew I was gonna pick up this book and it was probably gonna slap, right? Because it's the same writer, it's Daniel Warren Johnson doing Daniel Warren Johnson things, but there was a couple things that happened here, and number one was we had another art change, so it goes from Daniel Warren
Mhm.
Johnson to Jorge Corona now to Jason Howard, and I was a little bit worried, so I picked this book up, going, oh man, is this? Is this going to be as good as we've gotten? How could they do this to us again? And it kind of slaps still. It's still in the same like style, I guess, right? It's still got like it has to come down to the inks, man. The inks look so clean on this. It still feels like it's part of Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. Nothing feels out of place. But the absolute biggest surprise here, if you would have ever told me that I would have feelings, like a level of care for the character of Starscream, which I'm not a Transformers fan. Like, I don't know much about the lore, the big picture stuff. I could watch the Transformers original movie and still be like, oh, wow, that happened? Like, because I just don't know. But everyone and their mother knows that Starscream is a dick. And, dude, you feel for him in this issue. You get background on this that you absolutely had no idea could possibly happen. You get a story that feels fulfilling, that feels like you get character from him that you just didn't even think was a possibility. Like some people, you kind of like look at him and you're like, man, you came out of the womb that way, didn't you? But maybe not for Starscream. Maybe there's a little bit in under those layers of the onion that we didn't know about. And the way that they reveal it here, you screamed at the stars and you made them see us. And he took on the name Starscream. I was like, oh my God, that's such good writing. Jesus.
Dude, hell
I
yeah.
loved it. What can I say?
I'm still like, I'm a couple issues behind. So I think I'm still on like 11. I got to catch up. So, but yeah, I just love this Daniel Warren Johnson cover too, man. So sick.
Yep.
Like I just love the colors on that and just the way it looks. Like his covers have been like, you know, don't get me wrong, Corona on the interiors and stuff like that, but I think like every one of his covers has been so brilliantly great. Like, you know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just feel like it's almost like we take it for granted at this point. But yeah, it's awesome that we have him through 25 on covers, if nothing else.
Dude, yeah. Keep them coming here. I'm just
Oh, yeah.
just gonna live in this world as long as we possibly can, man. The longer the better.
Oh yeah, dude. Space Ghost, dude, finally caught up with this series. I've been loving it, man. You've been reading this one, E? I forget. I don't hear.
Dude, no. I skipped
Okay.
out on that. There's only so many books you can read in a week's time, and
Yeah,
Space
amen,
Ghost
brother.
could not make the cut, unfortunately.
Yeah, I finally caught up with this one. I think I like left it back at 3, and I'm gonna forget all these guys' names. And I think this is Moltar here in this this new episode, this new issue. But like, yeah, just a great showdown here, and I just love the dynamic with the kids, man. Like, I think it's such a great story. You're getting to, you know, learn not only more about both of these kids and their backstory, but more about Space Ghost as a character and like who he is, you know, through these children. And I love how you're becoming more invested in their story, and you know, caring for them on, you know, levels that you didn't see come. Like I did not see myself invested in a story about Space Ghost and a couple kids, you know, even from issue 1 or 2. Like it was okay, but it didn't blow me away. But I think with each one, especially the one with who's that? God, I'm gonna embarrass the hell out of myself. Who's the big praying mantis looking motherfucker? You know what I'm talking about?
Dude, no, you're not gonna. I'm gonna embarrass myself.
Y'all help me out in the
history
chat.
with Space Ghost comes directly from the Danger Doom album. It's not even from the actual Adult Swim show. I know everything that MF Doom rapped about Space Ghost. That's it.
It starts with a K. It starts with a K, but dude, like that episode was super dope. You know, and or maybe it starts with a Z. Zorak. I don't know. Everybody's a
Yeah, Zorak
Zorak
is
or a
what Nick's saying.
Kozar or a Kazar. Zorak. But then there's like a
Kazar's a
giant
savage
lizard
lance. You
god
know
named
that,
like
dude.
Kazar. You know what I mean? There's like Kazar or Lazar or Lozar. Like there's a lot of Z's and K's and L's mixed together with these characters' names. So I apologize. Let's do chat and talk at the same time. It's a I don't know. It's a gift, chat. It's a gift. But yeah, I don't know. I like this one has been solid art throughout this, and it's like, you know, a world that I was vaguely familiar with, like Johnny Quest, and a book that, you know, I'm all in on now. I think it's super cool, and like I think the Energon books, you don't have to be knowledgeable or super fans of these series or these IPs to enjoy good comic booking. And I feel like that's a feat within itself to be able to appease longtime fans, of this character and these properties, and also be able to, bring in new fans or new readers like me. I think is something to be said. So shout out, I think it's Pepos, and I forget who it is on art, but shout out
Jonathan
to
Lau.
Jonathan Lau. Shout out to the team on Space Ghost, dude. And Bjorn Beren's doing some killer covers. I know Michael Cho did some great variants, I think for issues 1 through 5. But yeah, man, it's like a book that I kind of kept in my periphery around issue 2 or 3. I kept hearing so many great things about it and came back to it, and I'm glad I did. So yeah. Simpleton said I dropped it and picked it back up. Oh, wait. Hell yeah. Tiger said mark of a good book. Next said Space Ghost probably made my top 20, top 15 of the year.
Y'all are going to make me get another book, man, aren't you?
Talk said I like the one issue I read. Yeah, I hope to do that. Pick it up and trade. I definitely think that'd be a good idea. But yeah, man, I'm glad I came back to it. It was a rewarding read. Cool villain with Moltar, and I just love the kid aspect and Space Ghost trying to navigate everything with the while doing right by these two kids that he's kind of become a surrogate father for. So yeah, check out Space Ghost, man. Great book by what is that, Dynamite, right?
Yeah,
not Dynamite.
You got to give Dynamite credit, man.
And I think Dynamite does a great job of grassroots campaigning for their books, hopping on shows like Comic Pop and Rockin' Robbie, his not Rockin' Robbie Live, but his EXP channel, and like I see them, advertising all over YouTube, and I appreciate that. I feel like they really try to get in touch and engage with the fans in like a real way, and I feel like they recognize that there's a great way to get in touch with the fan base out here through all of us who love these comic books and are constantly talking about them.
Also 35 Thirst Trap variant covers.
Absolutely. Bring out the foils, baby.
Let's call it like it is. Give me
the foils. But regardless, man, I'm happy to see them, reaching out with a bunch of channels I know and trying to get their books out that way. I appreciate that. I don't see a whole lot of other publishers doing that. So shout out to Dynamite. All right, bro. The week ahead, which I guess is the week upon us since today is Wednesday. What are you looking forward to most, I guess, out of next week or this week?
Spoilers. I read some of these already. If I'm looking for something to be really surprised by, I'm super curious about Vicarious. Boom has more hits than misses. So a new #1 from Boom, where they're getting a little bit trippy, a little bit psychedelic. I'm down for that. I want to see what that's all about. But we gave Mark Waid a lot of praise today, and Mark Waid has both Action Comics and, more importantly, in my opinion, Batman and Robin Year 1 coming out. Oh, I'm excited.
Wait, so Action is going weekly?
Weekly, every single week. That's a problem. That's gonna become a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah, weekly never works. I don't know why. That's some 90s shit. What is it going to be? Clayton? Like, is it Clayton Henry, or do you know what the?
Clayton Henry's on art. How long that lasts? Because they had a little bit of runway. I mean, who knows how long that's going to last?
Man. I don't care who it is. There's no way. Yeah. Okay, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. What about you, though?
Why? What? Let me ask you. Why do you think they need to do that? Why push it to weekly?
The almighty dollar. Why not?
Yeah. You think
make money? Put more comics out. There's no other reason. Like there isn't.
I guess.
Well, in a world where we have 17 Batman books that come out every single week, regardless of what title they're under, what's another Superman book? Who cares if it's the same title that comes out every single week? It's
true.
It's still less than Batman.
I would think of those two. I would see more Batman books trend towards weekly if they were going to go that route. You know what I mean? But I guess it is what it is. Talk to me about Vicarious.
Come on.
Shut up. Hey, DC, if you want to give me a weekly Batman book, I'm here for it though. Vicarious, tell me a little bit. Who's the team on that? Do you know?
It's unknowns to me at least, but hang on one second.
Okay.
Here, I'll get you the solicit.
That one sounds interesting, bro. I hadn't heard about that one. I'm with you there on Batman and Robin. Wade and Sam Nee, like say less, bro. Wade and Sam Nee, one of my favorite Daredevil runs of all time, out in San Francisco. I think that's so slept on. Spider-Man 2, that's a book you and Nick both got me on. I've been catching up, but I've been enjoying both the first volume and the newer one of that.
Now the scary thing though is that the moniker of year one comes with some weight to it. Like it's been used like kind of to lackluster effect quite a bit. I think that Mark Waid and Chris Samney are up to living up to the the bravado that comes with the year one moniker. So time will tell, but like at the very least, it's got my excitement level up. So
yeah, I like to have like the Batman fonts in that year one type of font. You know what I mean? Like, or at least like how the Batman logo was when Ultra Mega 2. Fuck yeah. Love Ultra Mega.
Yeah, Ultra Mega is just buck wild. Nobody knows what the heck is going on besides maybe James Herron, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So
facts.
Here, I got the Vicarious stuff pulled up here. So it's
go
written
ahead.
by Ryan Parrott with art by Eleonora Carlini. Yeah, you heard of either of them?
I've heard of Ryan Parrott somewhere before in the ether. I forget what it was. Hold on.
So here, I'll give you the solicit here. So after a dangerous encounter reveals its enter Justin, an aimless 20-something desperate for human connection and excitement. After a dangerous encounter reveals itself to be a fortuitous opportunity, Justin finds what he's looking for in the secret world of Proxy's young, pretty, ambitious hustlers like himself who allow the rich to access to their feelings and experiences through technological implants. So basically, you kind of like implant your consciousness into another better, more entertaining person, and you get to not live as them, but kind of see through their eyes as they go through their experiences.
Okay. Sounds very Cronenbergy. Cronenbergian?
It could get there. Crony? I don't know. No, cronies would be what the fans call themselves. Y'all a bunch of cronies out there.
Yeah, there you go. And then Mystique looks intriguing. I don't know.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
It doesn't feel like it's treading new ground, but that's okay too, because I like a good spy thriller. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know and isn't that Declan Shalvey or whatever on that book?
Writing and art.
Okay, all right, that'll be interesting. All right, so some definitely some interesting titles to look out for. I think Ultra Mega and Batman and Robin Year One are going to be my most anticipated, but we'll see what happens. Cool. All right, brother. Yeah, go ahead and plug your stuff.
All right, on the pull list, my weekly comic book review show. New episode just dropped Monday morning, so go check that out, where you can hear about some of the comics we just talked about tonight and many more, including my pick of the week. So go hop over there maybe after the show is done and give it a watch. Other than that, no slide for it, but I was also just on PCP movie night last night talking about The Prowler, 1981 horror movie with Robbie, Jelani, Brooks, Steph, and Spilio here. Had a great time over there. It was a really fun movie, so go check that out too.
Oh yeah, look at you. See, I told you it was going to be a good time and a good watch. Pessimistic SOB. Taki says Vicarious sounds like an Aftershock comic I read once. He's looking forward to Destro. Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Nick's looking forward to Spider-Man Reign, Batman and Robin, Uncanny. Oh, all good. Of course, Nick's read everything already.
Spider-Man Reign is good. Spoilers.
Such a prima donna. Yep. All right. Friday night, 9:00 Eastern. Check me out on Blood Splatter Chatter. Me and Verno are doing the top 10 or our top 10. I don't want to say best horror movies. Top 10 favorite horror movies of the 2010s. We're both doing our countdown over there on Blood Splatter Chatter, 9:00. Me and the man himself. So y'all come through Friday night and hang with us. It's going to be a great show. Got a lot of dope movies lined up to talk about. So can't wait for that. other than that, we appreciate all y'all coming through. Everybody in the chat from Fable, Scotty, Rogue, Sal, Nick. Who else we got? Taki, Bobby, Spilio, Bobo. Did I say Bobo
You got
already?
Simpleton up in here too. Who else we got?
Simpleton, thank
Yep.
you, bro.
A lot of good people. So many good people.
Yeah, so many people. Thank all y'all for coming out and hanging with us this Wednesday night. We will see y'all next week. Until then, station and be excellent to each other.